Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool arcade game repair video for you this evening. Boy, we're working on a special one tonight. We are working on a Pacific Novelties Thief arcade game. We've had this thing a long time, and I just finally decided to spend some more time on it and get it going. I'll show you the rest of it here later in the video, but we're going to do a video today working on the sound of this thing because it has unique sound. This is a really kind of different game. Pacific Novelty Manufacturing Inc. 1981. It's a maze game where you're running from the cops and you're stealing money. So when you go through the maze, you're picking up dollar bills, y'all. And I seem to have it working pretty good, but I don't have the sound working very good. So I'll show you. Basically, when you get the little cash thing in the corner, that makes you where you can turn the tables on them now. You can see some little artifacts from the RAM. I think we may still have a minor issue with that. But all in all, it's playing pretty good. So I'm going to coin it up, and then we'll play it for just a second so you can see what the audio is doing. And then we'll talk a little more about it. Notice there are 4 speakers in Thief. Okay, so if we coin it up, hear the siren. No siren. Hear the clipping. So that noise is the dollar bill, y'all. Right? Hear it? The paper. Okay, now watch this. So there's a siren because I got the thing. But I no longer am invincible or whatever, but it's still playing. That should turn off after the cars turn back. The siren should have went off, but it didn't. Okay? And you hear the boop, boop, boop. All right. This thing has a very interesting sound system. See how it's just stuck on? It has a very interesting sound system. It can basically make 4 different sounds. One is the paper, the cheddar, the paper sound. That. One is the whoop whoop of the police siren. The siren, which is stuck on. And then the other 2 sounds are, it has a 2-channel 8-track, not 8-track, cassette, well, maybe it was 8-track. We'll look it up in a minute. A 2-channel tape player that played chatter from the police on one speaker. There's 4 channels of audio. Chatter from the police, and it's going, calling all cars, suspect, we're in high-speed pursuit of a suspect. If you're near William Street, please advise, the subject is armed and dangerous. And it's doing this the whole time. Right? Cool as hell. So it's like you're listening to the police radio. And then the other channel was turned on and off whenever you hit the other cars. It would make like a crash sound. And it was actually a recording on the freaking tape. Just a ridiculous way to do it, but it's cool as hell. So that tape player sat right here at one point. And the interface is this little 6-pin plug. So we're going to replace this with a more modern MP3 player, which other people have done before. It works really good. So our audio is all messed up. We don't have the chatter because the tape player's not there. We don't have the car crash because the tape player's not there. We don't have the cheddar, I'll call it the cheddar sound, picking up the cash. That's not working because it's clipping. Hear the... So it's doing it right now, right? And then the whoop whoop here come the popo sound, the siren sound, gets stuck on. So all 4 channels of sound aren't right. So this is the soundboard. I'll show you the whole board set. This is the CPU board. Whoa. Lots of ROM chips. Yes, I have to put labels over the windows. Don't worry about it, people. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Typical Z80 processor. RAM matrix of 4116 RAMs. And then 2114 RAMs that are like the program RAM. These are video RAM. Okay, so I've already, and this is a like a video controller. So we've got this working with, we might have some RAM artifacting going on. So there's that. Then there is the coprocessor board, they call it. I haven't had to do much to it. Not really sure how it works or what it does. So we won't be doing much with that in this video. But this in-out board here handles the sound. So we're going to check out a couple things in the schematics and then figure out how we can fix this. And then we'll mess with the MP3 player that we're going to install. Now, notice there are 2 potentiometers here. One turns up the whoop whoop, I think it's this one, and one turns up the dollar bill sound. Okay. So let's look on the schematics. Oh, these are relays. I'll show you that on the schematics too. Let's look in the schematics and figure out how we can address all 4 channels being screwed up. So here's part of the schematic. The 4 channels, we're going to address all 4 of them separately, but we'll do the tape ones first just to show you how that works, and then we'll wait till we replace that later. So there are these lines, PC5, PC4, and PC6 that come in, and basically they turn on these transistors, right? And so this top one sends power to the tape deck. Now, so it always gets the 12 volt, but it can turn off the ground. Now, why would it do that? I guess it turns it off whenever you're not playing the game. So when it's in a track mode. All right, so at some point they turned the tape deck completely off. And I just looked, it was a cassette tape deck, which makes sense because there's only 2 channels. They wouldn't need an 8-track, and it was 1981. So, but here's where they got real creative with it. They can turn on and off this relay with another signal. All right? So the tape deck is an independent tape deck. It's an auto-reversing cassette tape deck. So it's playing a tape with left and right audio continuously. So the ground, I believe on this one they switch off the positive. They don't switch off the ground because it would still play if you switched off the ground. The ground from the tape deck on this channel, the left channel, comes out back to the in-out board through this connector, and then back out and is connected to the speaker. The positive, the audio, from the tape deck on the left channel comes in and connects to this relay. So if the relay is not on, it is not connected to the speaker. If the game turns on the relay, it connects the positive left channel audio that's always coming out of the tape deck because it's an auto-reversing cassette tape. It plays it, it connects it through the relay to the speaker. So by doing this, by turning this relay on and off, you're effectively cutting and connecting the speaker wire. So this is the one that's playing we'll just say, I'm guessing, but the left one's the one that's playing the police car chatter the entire time. Car 54, where are you? Right? That's old school. Nick at Night, people. I'm not that old. I watched it on Nick at Night, all right? So they have another one that's doing the same thing on this side. Okay? So the right channel coming out of the tape deck connects to the in-out board, goes right back out to the speaker, and the right channel positive connects in, goes through a relay, and then right back out to the speaker. So they can effectively turn on and off the left and the right channels. Okay, so we'll mess with that here in a minute. but I'm getting text. We'll mess with that here in a minute, but first we're going to look at the other two audio channels because we're having problems with all four. These two, the problem being that they're missing because there's no tape deck. Okay, so this area here of the schematics, I'll show you close up here in a second, but here are the other two speakers. So the other, you saw the two speakers are connected to the tape deck. Here's one of the other ones, and here's one of the other ones, channel A, channel B, right? And so we'll just focus on one, but the speaker is grounded, and then the positive runs back to a LM303, I think. Or maybe a 383. I think it's a 383. LM383, and it's just a, an amplifier circuit. It's a separate channel, and it gets its signals from a signal designated 2A, 2B, and 2C. Okay, and then you see those three signals come in. They're mixed together by just slamming them into each other after they run through a little resistor, run through a capacitor, and then they run through a old school volume setup. One side connected to ground, right? Run through a LM380 and then a LM383. Okay, so this is completely separate from this channel. Okay, so we need to figure out which one is which, but 2A, 2B, and 2C run one channel. 1A, 1B, and 1C run another channel, and that's all of the inputs. Okay, so where are those coming from? Okay, so in another section of the schematics, you have some address control lines basically here, right? They run through some stuff, run through a 74, 148, and then you've got these three lines here, and they get inverted, I guess. And they run these two AY38910s. These are old school sound chips that are in all kinds of arcade games, including the fantastic king of the arcade, Donkey Kong. So there's two of these AY38910s, and these sound chips are what's making the sound. So one of them is, its sole purpose is to go to make the cheddar sound. And then the other one, I may have them backwards, but the other one is sole purpose is to do the whoop, 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 whoop sound. Now they're also playing audio. There's a little bit of like a melody that it plays before the game starts and maybe between the levels or something. But that's pretty much all that it's playing. One's making the cheddar sound and one's making the whoop whoop sound. So if you look, these same three control lines are basically controlling both of them. And then you've got I don't really know what these do. We could look up the chip and tell, but we don't have to right now. But these two lines, if you look, they come from the same place. So this line, this address line comes in, runs through an LS32, and then back through, I guess that's the same thing, doesn't say, but, and then back through to control one, and then just runs through it once to control the other one. So it's the same signal. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Because we're trying to troubleshoot it. You have to understand a little bit about how it works before you can troubleshoot it. Now, if you look down here, 1A, 1B, 1C, that's one channel. 2A, 2B, 2C, that's the other channel. Okay. All of the other lines are the same. And the three control lines are the same. And this, it's not the same, but it's, I don't know. Might be the problem, but we'll see. So my whole point is, this is a good place to start looking for our problems with the other two. So the one channel won't cut off. Once it starts the whoop whoop, cops is on location. Once it starts that, it doesn't cut off. It just keeps doing it over and over and over again, and it shouldn't do that. The other one has got like a clipping going on that it shouldn't have in the sound. Okay, if I had to guess, I'd say that's capacitors, but we'll get to that in a minute. But both of these chips are socketed and they're identical. So the first thing I'm going to do is just reverse those two chips, and we'll see if that changes either problem. If it now makes the whoop whoop clip and it makes the cheddar sound lock on where it never stops. So that's the very first thing I'm going to do. Just swap those two chips in their two sockets and then try it again. Okay, so I swapped the two. I don't hear the clipping, but maybe it won't start till we start a game. No tune. Okay, hardly any cheddar. So that ain't right. Let's get the whoop whoop started. Okay, so it turns off now. Those chips had both been cleaned. They just hadn't. Perfect. Okay, but we're missing our cheddar. But you can hear it trying. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't put the chip quite in the socket right, or maybe that chip's bad, but I don't know why. That's the same chip that was making our whoop whoop before, right? That wouldn't turn off. Very cool. What a cool game. God, this thing's awesome. You can actually hear the relays clicking on and off at certain times. You hear it? It's clicking on and off because we just wrecked. Okay, so our whoop whoop sound is fine. We need to figure out which channel that is, and then concentrate on the other channel. And first thing I'll do is try replacing that 8910. Okay, so it tells us in the manual that channel B is the dollar pickup sound trimmer pot on the interface board, okay, at location 7C. So that tells us what we need to do. So whichever one uses the potentiometer at 7C, that's the one that is causing us problems. Okay, so there's C7, right? So remember, the chip running this was the one doing the whoop whoop before, and we did have the paper sound before. It just had a lot of clipping. So it's the signals that are 1A, 1B, and 1C, which would be the chip at C3. So let me try making sure I've got that in correctly, and then let me try just swapping in another 8910 that I've got. Okay, so all of that we just looked up in the manual is completely backwards. The C3 is the whoop whoop sound, and the D3 is the one that we were having problems with. I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong. So I replaced the 8910. I just heard it make the paper sound there. So the 8910, that was locking on, making the whoop whoop sound. If you put it where the paper sound is supposed to be, you get no paper sound. Okay. Melody. Maybe there's not. There's our paper sound. Is there supposed to be a track sound there? The paper sound's back. Let's see if the whoop whoop. Yep. See if it turns off. I can hear the relays clicking. They got me. Okay, so our whoop whoop's coming on and off, and the paper sound's working. We're stealing money all over the city. Awesome. Cool game. But what makes the game are the other two channels. Okay, so I could have swore that clipping was going to be was going to be the caps, because we took the one that was making the clipping sound and put it with the whoop whoop, and it sounds fine with that. So who knows? Whatever. Crime doesn't pay, people. Remember that. Don't be a thief. Okay, so I think we've got those two channels working, and we didn't even have to recap the soundboard. So that's interesting. All right, so we're going to let's look into what we need to do to make the tape player replacement. This is what we're going to replace the tape player with, the cassette player. It's made in China. Wish it was a little better one, but for what we're doing, this should work perfect. Okay, we'll see. 2-channel output power amplifier. Now the thing with these is, if you load a audio file onto an SD card and put in it, this thing will just play that thing on like over and over again. Okay. Now the reason that it has to play it over and over again is because when that relay turns on the crash sound, you have to hear a crash sound no matter where you are on the tape. And whenever the relay turns on the police chatter, you need to hear the police chatter no matter where you are on the tape. So the way they've done that is there's a left channel of police chatter, a right channel of crash sounds. The crash sound is like every 4 seconds it crashes over and over again. And they're just playing constantly for like 7 minutes or something like that. The loop's like 7 minutes. And it just turns it on whenever it wants you to actually hear what's being played on the tape. Very cool. So we're just going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to make a file for the SD card, put this little amp in there, and have it just play over and over and over again. And whenever the relays turn it on, you'll hear it. Or at least that's our theory. Let's see if this works. I've heard other people have done this and it worked just fine, but I haven't seen any of their videos. I believe there are other videos here on YouTube though of people doing that. It also takes 12 volts input, just like our cassette tape player would have originally. You know what though? Let me show you something interesting. Just let me show you how I was originally going to do this years ago. I've had this game for like 3 or 4 years now. I just haven't taken the time to mess with it. This is one of those projects that gets thrown on the back burner. You know what I mean? So let me show you how I was originally going to do it before I decided to go the MP3 route. I was just going to use an old auto reverse tape player from a car. An old cassette tape player. And I had somebody on the killer list of video games copy the tape for me. So he just put the tape in his tape tag and made a copy and mailed it to me. That's awesome. Thank you, whoever did that. It's been a few years. And then I don't know where I got these. I don't know what these are. There may be something on these as well. Boy, this is cool. But the whole thing is, you know me, I like vintage stuff. I love vintage stuff. Look, come on now. I got all kinds of vintage stuff. I'm into it. But yeah, it's not super reliable. The tape can break. It deteriorates. The play head is freaking 40 years old now. Who the hell knows if it's going to work right? We're going to go the MP3 route. It's a good little upgrade, and it'll be more reliable, and then it'll be replaceable. If there's a problem in the future, you can buy those brand new, no problem. So we're going to attempt that. So let's take this out of the box and see what we got. So I purposefully got the cheapest little, easiest, simplest little thing in the hopes that it will just continue playing this audio card over and over again as soon as you give power to this sucker. Okay. So we'll see how that works. So the thing, here's the model number if you want to buy the same one. Cheapo. The reason I got this particular one is because it actually came with the power jack, so it'll be really easy to wire up. So remember, from the schematics, there is a ground and a 12 already running in that little 6-pin connector at the top. So I need to make the other end of the connector and run this to it. And then we have our 4 audio wires, the 2 grounds and the left and the right channel, running from the tape deck to the relays. Okay, and so here we go, bam, 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 bam. So I made sure to get ones that actually have external speaker connectors. So I need to run 4 wires from here to that connector, and these 2 wires to that connector. Wire it up just how the original tape player was. Make an SD card, and we should be in business. So I'm gonna let me do the wiring real quick, and we'll go from there. So here's the schematics. Let me show you. Again, this was Pacific Novelty. It's a company that only made a few games, so a smaller company. This is the cassette deck, and so it's showing you right here how it's wired and the colors of the wiring. So the manual is actually very detailed on this game, but when you get over here, it says left channel in, left channel in. So, you know, we're going by this. This is probably correct, but the stuff's backwards. So the thing that I was looking at earlier was backwards. So who knows if this is right, but it's not that big of a deal. The wires can be easily switched on those quick disconnects on the back of the MP3 player. Now, why would it be? Why the error? It's because it's a small company. They may have had 1 or 2 people designing the whole board and writing the whole schematic, and then nobody that knew anything reviewing it. So it could be that just nobody caught it after someone made that little error, and it's still in there all these years later. Of course, they never released an updated manual or anything, but so I've about got it wired up. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So easy peasy. Nice little clean connection. There must have been something like this on the original tape player, very similar. The power, of course, just connects, you know, ground and a 12, and then the 4 audios. So I believe I have them wired properly, but if they are wrong, I can reverse the left and the right channel pretty easily. I checked; these 2 grounds are not tied together, so the ground on each speaker is separate. But I think that'll work. Okay, so I think what I'll do is maybe put it in the cabinet and play it, and just see if the machine turns it on without an SD card in it. Okay, so she plugs right in, of course, and she's just sitting there. It does not have power on. We're in a track mode. So the that's not the same as the whoop whoop, right? But I'll bet it's on that same channel. Okay. So it's still not on, so let's start the game. So the in-out board has turned on the amp like it should. Now let me see if I can die. You watch it from back here. Or I guess it'll do it automatically. I don't have to go wreck. They'll find me. That's maybe the 2nd or 3rd life. Okay, I wrecked again. Maybe there's 1 left. Wrecked again. Red screen of death. It says crime doesn't pay, and it turned off the amp. Folks, it seems to be working, but it's not playing anything because we don't have anything hooked up to it. So we need to make an SD card. And wouldn't it be cool if we could make the exact same sounds that it originally made? Okay, so this is a program called Shotcut. I use this to make a lot of my videos, most of my videos, edit them together. It's a free program. They are not paying me to talk about this, but this is a really cool open source program that does video, audio, all of that. So we're going to use it to manipulate this file. Now, crash and talk. Now, where did I get that? I got it from MAME. The whole purpose of MAME is to save arcade games, right? So one of the things that they have done is somebody has copied that tape, and there's a copy of what it does in MAME. So do you want to hear the car crash? Here's a copy of the car crash that's repeated over and over again on that tape. And so it would just do that over and over again. And so it's going to play that over and over again. And when that relay clicks on, click, you'll hear that crash. And that's how it was originally designed. Now on the other channel, it's constantly playing the chatter, right? And so for the first time in a long time, here is the original chatter that was on the tape.
Any units in vicinity of Hollywood and Vine, 504 in progress. Car 13, see the man at Doheny and Sunset. Use caution. Pursuit of robbery suspect in progress. Suspect proceeding on Sunset. Chase in progress. All units use caution. Officer in trouble. Man down. Code 3.
Okay, so it does that for 8 minutes and 14 seconds. And then it loops over. So every 8 minutes, your talk will loop. But that's cool. If you get 8 minutes of it, that's pretty good. Your game probably won't be that long anyway. So we need to create a file with that on one channel and the crash over and over and over again on the other channel in a stereo audio file. Put it on an SD card, and that should get us going. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Let's see if I can pull this off. Okay, so I created the file. So basically I've got one track that's panned all the way to the left, got another track that's panned all the way to the right. I'm going to double check to make sure that the crash should be on the right and the chatter should be on the left, but I think that's right. But I'll give you an idea of what it's supposed to sound like. So I've muted the right channel, and we'll start the left channel playing, and then if I unmute the right channel, it'll pretty much be like it would be whenever you wreck. So
any units in vicinity of Hollywood and Vine, 504
so now we're going to wreck.
Car 13, see the man at Doheny and Sunset. Use caution.
We'll wreck again.
Pursuit of robbery suspect in progress. Suspect proceeding on Sunset.
So you can see that it doesn't always line up with the wreck. Sometimes you hear the end of the wreck before and the end of, whatever, or you hear two wrecks or whatever. So it's just the way the thing was designed. They just had it so that whenever they trigger that wreck sound, it basically just turns on a loop of it playing over and over again. So you get the idea. So I'm going to mix this. I'm going to check to make sure that it should be the chatter should be on the left and the right should be the wreck, and we'll mix it into a stereo file, put it on an SD card, and see what happens. Oh, and by the way, other people have mixed songs in, so you could have it playing Police in the background and stuff like that. You could have it playing the Cops theme song. It's just a really easy way to manipulate the audio, So you could leave the guy talking and put music behind him, or you could just take out part of what he's saying and, just right in the middle, splice in it playing the Cops theme song, because it's going to be playing this the entire time that you're driving around. There's lots of possibilities. I mean, that's a pretty cool little option, right? But we're going to make it back to how it originally was, right? Okay, folks, so I just had a cheap little SD card. Now, the only thing is, this thing doesn't have a balance on it. I didn't notice that before, but balance would be better, because if you could change the balance, then you could raise or lower the volume of the crash. Okay, so I played it back on the computer. If you just play the MP3, you'll hear both channels at the same time. And I turned the crash down in my mix just so that it sounded a little better. But
any units in vicinity of Hollywood and Vine, 504 in progress. Car 13, see the man at Doheny and Sunset. Use caution. Pursuit of robbery suspect in progress. Suspect proceeding on Sunset. Chase in progress. All units use. Officer in trouble. Man down.
It's working.
Cars 2 and 6 Joint. Suspect may be armed. Disabled vehicle on Fountain. Need officer assistance to handle traffic. 504 in progress. All units proceed to Elm and Main. Code 3. Dispatch, this is Car 2 in hot pursuit of sedan. Request assistance. What is your location, Car 2?
Oh. I turned around too quick. So it's
in vicinity of Castle and Spring. Be on the lookout for pursuit. Robbery in progress at Lincoln Savings on Wilshire. Car 5 and Car 9 assist in chase. Pretty good playing.
Thank you.
This is Car 2. The thief is double at it. Officer in trouble at Castle and Panway. All units assist. Calling all cars. Calling all cars. Jewel robbery in progress at Doheny and... The thief has struck again. 504 in progress. Use caution.
Wow. So that's pretty cool, folks. But you can imagine how you could change the file and make it...
Be careful, Car 8. The thief is extremely dangerous.
No, I'm not.
All units in vicinity of Washington and Lincoln, be on the lookout for the thief. The dispatch, this is Car 1. Turning into Delavan. Request back. 10-4, Car 1. All cars assist Car 1. Code 3.
All cars assist Car 1. Code 3, this is your last chance, Player 1.
It's off the road. He's coming at you, Car 8. We have a multiple car accident on Delavan. Now, Code 3. You must stop the thief. We've lost him. All cars be on the lookout for the thief driving a late model sedan. The thief is an experienced... Be alert out there. Can't you play any better than that? Robbery in progress. It's the coin shop on... The thief is at... This... Be stopped. All units in Pico vicinity be on the lookout for the thief. He's extremely dangerous, so wait for backup.
Yeah, you
Has
better.
anyone made contact? Car 1 negative. Car 4 negative. Dispatch, this is Car 7. I've got him.
No, you
Heading
don't.
East on Olympic. He must be doing over 90. Car 7. Wait for backup. Keep your distance. Wait.
They don't have that. The AI ain't that great.
Car 22, roger. Car 51, roger. Car 69, roger. Car 32, 51, and 69, assist Car 7. Use extreme caution. The slippery... Car 22, I see him. 51, I got him too. Roger, 69. Okay, try to close him off the side streets. It's too risky for pedestrians. Roger. Dispatch.
Who's the man with the master plan? What a cool game. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to do another video of this game because it's just such a great game. But I just wanted to do one to show you how we were going to handle the sound and to troubleshoot those little issues that we had on the sound board. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave your comments down below. Now, people, if you want to support our channel, let's say you just love our channel. Well, we love you too. If you want to support our channel, a way you can do that is we have some links below to Amazon. If you follow, crime doesn't pay, people. If you follow our links to Amazon, anything that you buy on there, after you click that link, gives us a little tip. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. Also, make sure to check out our website, lionsarcade.com. We have all of our t-shirts and our things like that for sale on there. Also, the arcade games, of course. that we have for sale are available on there. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my brother Donnie. My brother Donnie is literally my brother. He's here on YouTube. He has his own channel. I'm over there with him a lot of the time, working on buildings and vehicles and all of that stuff. So we'll see you on the next video. We'll do one more of this where we show off the whole thing after we get it all finished up and play it extensively. And we'll see how fun this thing really is whenever I don't have to hold a camera in one hand. See you on the next video.